You have to grow through what you go through.
Hey everybody, welcome into another edition of Make Every Second Count Live with me, your host and international award-winning Make Every Second Count speaker. Now I am freaking pumped up. I know, I say this every week, but seriously guys, we're on episode 26 of season 10. I'll say that again because you might have missed it. Episode 26 of season 10. 10, guys. 10. That's pretty awesome. But I have brought you guest after guest, and they've been powerhouse guests, and I've loved each and every one of them, and I hope you guys have learned something from all of them. And tonight is no different. So I ask you guys if you would please share this episode out. Invite all kinds of people to watch it and just tag as many of them in the comments as you can. I would absolutely love that. Also, don't forget to give us thumbs up, hearts, frowny faces, cry faces. You can even get mad at us. I don't mind. Just help me check the algorithm on one of the socials that I am on. And then also keep the comments coming. We want to have more of a conversation than just make a presentation. So ask what you want. If they're good questions, I'll read them on the air. If not, I won't. Sorry. Not sorry. But so with no further ado, I would like to bring to the stage Miss Maria.
Hey.
Hello, Miss Maria. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing really well. Thank you so much, Jeff. And many congratulations to you. Wow, 10 seasons and 26 episodes. That deserves a round of applause right there.
Yeah,
So.
even from me, because
yes.
It's taken a lot to deal with some of these people.
I gotcha. I did. Years back, I used to host on LA Talk Radio, and I have been in your shoes, and I know what it's like to put together a show and to try to get guests, and sometimes guests forget or they don't show up, and it can be really challenging. So kudos to you for making every second count.
Thank you very much. I'm so excited to have you on here tonight. And first of all, I need to say thank you for taking the time out of your busy evening to be here with me and my peeps. And I truly do appreciate it. So if you would like to go through a short introduction on yourself, tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and what you do. I'm going to be inviting a few people on my phone. So hang in there. I'm looking down, but I am paying attention.
Thank you. And thanks for inviting some people too. So, hi, everybody. Good evening to those of you who are East Coasters. Happy almost done with work to those of you who are West Coasters. And the people in Europe, I guess we'll catch you tomorrow, or maybe you're insomniacs and you're watching right now. My name is Maria C. Palmer. I am probably the best known because I am the author of On the Rocks, the Primadonna story, but it wasn't always that way. I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in a little small town called McKees Rocks that you probably have not heard of before, but if you're a football fan, you may have, because a couple of years ago, Damar Hamlin, who's the number 3 player on the Buffalo Bills, passed out in a cardiac arrest.
Yeah.
And he is actually from McKees Rocks, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
And his mom's daycare sat across the street from what once was my parents' restaurant, hence the Primadonna story. And I grew up in this restaurant. It was kind of like the little annoying brother that I never really had. Took a lot of time away from my family because my dad in particular really had a dream to build this into one of America's top Italian restaurants in the nation. And although it was a really big dream, I always say that if you can dream it, you can do it. And he certainly put in a lot of sweat, equity, and tears, but he was able to do it over time. And my sister and I were a big part of that, as was my mom. And we really kind of grew up in that restaurant. Hello. And really loved it from the ground up. Oh, there's Jeff's dad. Hello, Jeff's dad. Nice to see you here tonight. And it all kind of came to a sharp end whenever I was a junior in college, and the federal government knocked on my door looking for my dad.
Wow.
And that kind of became the beginning of the downfall of the restaurant. And it was kind of at that point that became my own personal breaking point. But it was also at that point that sort of led me to authorship and all of the places that I've been since then. So we were just talking before the show, and sometimes these hard moments in life, although you never really want to relive them, they do help shape who you are, and you do have an actual appreciation for them looking back on it.
That hit right there. That hits the nail on the head. I have been studying the Stoic philosophy and the Stoics from ancient Greece and Rome, and they say that the obstacle is the way. And I that actually hit me the hardest when I first read it, because it's like, wow. So I had been saying this whole time that because of my car accident, I was now able to do all this other stuff that I wouldn't have been able to do before my accident. And so that the adversity, the situation that people go through, is often the catalyst for growth.
Absolutely.
And the catalyst to expand your world.
100%. I could not agree more. I never would have thought whenever I was growing up that I would have been in the situation that I was in. But because of it, like you said, so many opportunities have popped into my life, opportunities for growth, but also opportunities to help other people that are going through really hard stuff. And that's been kind of my favorite positive consequence about this whole journey, is hearing from people that even I know very well, that have come up to me afterwards and said, hey, my mom was in prison whenever I was growing up, or I suffered with this secret that I hid for years, and hearing about what happened to you kind of inspired me. So I love that people can be inspired by what it is that we sort of went through. To me, it's kind of what keeps me going, because I had wished at kind of my lowest point that somebody would have just popped up and told me that it's going to be okay, and just one day at a time. That's the most important thing that you can remember when you're going through something that's really, really challenging. It's not measured by the marathon. It's just the steps that you take to get there, you know?
Yeah, that is so true. And well, I don't, well, when you say marathon, I think of the quote, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And I always tell people that they have to keep stepping no matter what they are going through. Hey, if you can't walk, crawl. If you can't crawl, scoot on your butt, do something, figure out some way that you can keep moving forward, because the only way that you are going to get out of what you are going through is going through it and
Yes.
growing through it. That is a big thing to me, because I think if you don't grow through things, you end up repeating those things over and over, because the situations that happen, I think, is because they happen because you are supposed to learn something. They're there to teach you something.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I have a few questions. First
Sure.
of all, so were you angry with the world, or angry with God, or the universe, or who were you angry with at the time that the feds knocked on your door?
I think I was a little angry at everyone. The anger kind of came a little later. I think at first I was in a lot of disbelief because my dad was and actually still is kind of the pillar of the community. And he did so many wonderful things to help people. McKees Rocks is not an area, if you go to Pittsburgh, that you're going to stop at, you know, on a tourist destination, especially now. And at the time, my dad was there before he kind of helped to clean everything up. It's a place where you drive through with your doors locked and your windows up. And, you know, my dad embraced that neighborhood and he loved the people of McKees Rocks. And he loved them so much that people started to work for him and he treated them like family. And especially a lot of the younger guys that came in as bus people or dishwashers and they didn't have positive male role models. My dad became that to many. And I think, you know, because of that, I was in shock whenever I found out that the feds were sort of targeting my dad. But I should mention the reason why they were targeting my dad was not because of my dad. It was not an investigation that was opened up with him being the singular subject. His name was mentioned in a federal grand jury investigation for somebody else who was doing something wrong. And so they said, hey, if you want a lesser sentence or if you want your kind of get out of jail free card, just tell us somebody else who you think. It doesn't even have to be somebody that you know, but somebody that you think is doing nefarious things. And of course, my dad's name popped into the mix, and here we are. You know, a long 3-year investigation followed by a stint in federal prison, and you know, a business that he built from the ground up that he unfortunately had to sell at the height of the business because of all of this. And so I think I was definitely angry as well, angry that the situation couldn't be fixed, angry that this situation required him to go to prison, and that somebody else who was doing something, was able to essentially get their free pass in life by ruining our lives. And I've learned much later on. I'm a big yogi. I love doing yoga. I love meditation, breath work. I think all of that is just so helpful for the metaphors and how we live our life. And I've done a lot of soul searching, and I've honestly, over time, learned how to forgive that person and learned where that person was probably coming from. And most likely, it could have been a jealousy thing. It could have been somebody wanting to demolish my family and everything that we had built. But more likely, it was probably somebody that was really scared, that was trying to save their own family. And for certain, they mentioned our family. It happened. I forgive them. There's in my heart, there's no hatred or no anger anymore at all. I have done a lot of soul searching, a lot of therapy. I wrote a book. So I'm okay, and I'm at peace with it all. And weirdly enough, I always tell my dad, if that didn't happen, you don't have this book, right, that's behind me. You maybe have a Wikipedia page, if that maybe over the course of your lifetime, 2 or 3 people, one of which is probably going to be me, are going to read that. You're not sharing your story to thousands of people. And that's just the facts. Nobody wants to root for somebody whenever all they do is win. Life is lots of ebbs and flows, and sometimes the duality of what makes us human, right? The very good things about us and the things that we don't necessarily want to publicize. It's all rolled into the same person, and the things that make us great also, as my dad always says, contain the seeds to our destruction as well.
Yeah. So I have to ask, is your dad still alive, or is he no longer in prison, correct?
No, he's no longer in prison. He's not in the best of health, but he tours all the time with me, with the book.
Oh, so you guys get along and everything? And
oh, yeah, we have a great relationship, and he loves the book.
That's something that I have noticed also in this, that people that move on with their life and move on to better things, such as the book, often forgive the people that caused the situation that they went through, or forgive this actual situation in general. So what was the easiest way, or how did you figure out the way to let that out of your heart and not hold on to that anger that you said was there one time?
Yeah, so the anger was really never towards my family or towards my father. I always knew the type of person that my dad is, and he's a wonderful person and a very generous person and a very motivated, kind, passionate person. So my anger was never directed toward him. My anger was more directed towards that situation, and that haunted me for several years, and it haunted me in many different ways, mostly through my own struggle with anxiety, which then turned into panic attack disorders, depression, feeling a lot of shame and guilt for the situation, even though I had little to do with any of it, but I still kind of felt the shame around all of it. And it really took, honestly, a happenstance chance of meeting this crazy Catholic nun, moving 3,000 miles away to California. And this nun had started an organization that took children to go see their incarcerated parents. And to me, the greatest gift that I could give to her and the greatest gift that I could give to myself was being an advocate for the organization, speaking on behalf of the organization, and trying to solicit dollars for her wonderful work. And using my own story, right, as kind of the catalyst for that, that's when the true healing began, because it's very humbling whenever you're looking into the eyes of a 3-year-old who may have never met their mother and is going, for the first time to ever see their mother.
That has to be tough.
Yes. And that was not my situation. I was an adult. I had a very, very nice life before all of this happened. And I have a very, very nice life now. And I think that seeing other young children in these awful situations, it really humbled me and said, you know what, Maria, you got to wake up. You're very lucky. Yes, life, has handed you a little bit of a crappy situation, but there's always somebody that has it worse, and you need to use your voice and your passion to help other people. And that's the path that this journey has kind of taken me on. In addition to writing the book, I also work in the nonprofit industry, and I'm continually helping people who have very limited resources. And in a way, I feel like it's my way of giving back all of the wonderful things that were bestowed upon me. And it really started, honestly, with this horrible situation, just flipping it around and turning it into a positive.
It's so funny to me. Like, just how I said I've been studying the Stoics, and how I learned that what they said about adversity is, I can't even think now. Geez, I feel I don't know sometimes, but adversity is the way.
Yeah.
And I find it so rewarding when you can actually trace someone's winning back to an adversity. And because of that adversity, that challenge, that situation, they're actually doing better now.
Yes.
And that right there is something that I think people need to realize, that people that have it all together, granted, not everybody has it all together, especially on social media. They act like they have it all together, but they really don't. Nobody
That's
has
for
it
sure.
all together all the time. But those people, you can probably figure out something in their past that has created the greatness within them,
Yeah.
that has created even more than just greatness inside them. But you see, I think everybody has greatness inside, and it's just trying to get out. But sometimes it takes a big jolt to get out, and
Mhm.
that's what our adversities often do. And that right there is the strange thing to me.
Yes,
So
absolutely. Well said, Jeff. Very,
so
very well said.
we were talking, or you were talking a little bit about the book there. I see it right there behind you. It's called On the Rocks, correct?
Yes, correct. You got it.
Now, I saw online that this book has received multiple awards, and it's been named to some very prestigious lists. Am I correct?
Yes, you are. The book is written by me and my former AP English teacher, and we are two females that write as my dad. So if we do our job well, which hopefully all of you will read the book and you can be the judge of that. But it should feel like my dad is sitting at a bar rail with you and telling the story of his life and kind of what happened. Everybody knows what happened, but the why behind what happened is more of the important part. We've been very humbled that people have really kind of embraced this book, not just as a culinary memoir or a piece of Western Pennsylvania history, but really as a human tale. And like I told you earlier, people have really kind of felt like they could relate to the book, and it's gotten some awards for the voice and for the genre, which is awesome. And because of all of it, we are really excited to say that it now has film and TV rights, and we are in the middle of, we are in the middle of production for the On the Rocks documentary. So that started
awesome.
the fall of this previous year of 2025. And then we're going to wrap all of the interview portion of the documentary this summer. So that's very exciting. So, you know, you never know, whenever you have an idea and you want to do something, whether it be like a restaurant or a book, I always tell people just go for it, because you never know where your contribution is going to lead and where it might take you. And if you would have told me, you know, 3 years ago, do you think that there's going to be a movie about your family? I would have been like, no. But yeah, but I guess now the answer is yes, which is so cool. And I love it.
That's really cool. So how can people get a hold of the book if they want to read it? And is it out on like Kindle? Is it out in audio form? How has it been released?
Yes, two great questions. So it's wherever books are sold. Most people are Amazoning nowadays. You can easily get it on Amazon. It's available by Kindle, also in paperback and hardcover. It's interesting that you mentioned the audiobook. I'm actually right now working on an audiobook using my training 11 Labs as my father's voice, because my dad is actually blind now. So he's not, and it's diabetic related, but he's not able to read the words to actually be the narrator of his own audiobook. So we used several clips from interviews just like this and him talking, and we've actually created an archetype of his voice, which is not perfect, but we're trying. And, you know, it's that age-old question: do you go with perfection with a, you know, professional audiobook narrator, or do you go for something that's kind of raw and real and the actual subject telling the story? And in our case, for nostalgia purposes, we're going to go with the latter. So if you do eventually get the audiobook, which hopefully will be out in the fall or very early next year, just know that it's going to be as perfect as we could make it, but it's probably
great.
It's not going to be Morgan Freeman.
I'm sure it'll be great.
Thank you.
Yes. So I want to say I'm deeply fascinated by the story you have told and the way that you explained that how you grew from a situation that many people would consider as bad. And I find it to be fascinating, and I respect your journey through everything. So I want to say thank you for being on here tonight. That Robert Brooker said Morgan Freeman rocks.
Morgan Freeman does rock, but unfortunately he will not be the narrator for On the Rocks. but just imagine it. It'll be
Yeah.
okay.
So,
Jeff, I
go-
want to
I'm
thank
sorry,
you.
go ahead.
I want to thank you for having me tonight.
For
It's
sure.
really been wonderful, and your story is truly inspiring. I feel like I don't even have a drop in the bucket of the things that you've been through at a young age and how you've been able to
Right.
overcome. So
See,
thank you.
that is something else that will have to be for a different time. But I don't believe the size of the adversity or the situation or whatever you want to call it actually matters. I just think that growing through that situation, no matter what it is what truly matters.
100%. 100%.
Yes. So, well, we do have one question here for you. I know it's a little later than it's supposed to be, but who will you support in the World Cup? Italy or the U.S.?
I'll have to go with the US. I'm born in the US, even though my, ancestors are Italian. I'll have to go with USA, USA.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you answering that.
Thank
That
you.
is Adam, and he is actually from the United Kingdom. So this
Oh,
is an
nice.
international show. We appreciate you, Adam. We appreciate you, Robert. Hope you're having a great night. Believe in yourself. Thank you so much for watching and sharing. And then I also want to say hello to my dad and to Ben Bruce, a Fane Jr., who watches us religiously from the Indian Ocean
Wow.
on the Seychelles. But I need you and everybody else out there to do me a favor. I need you to make every second count. Why? Because you never know when those seconds will run out on your one life. That's all you get, guys. So until next week, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, I'll see you later. Have a great week.
Thank you.